guys, so we're gonna go ahead and finish shading our face, which includes our mouth, our chin, and then a little bit of our neck, and then I've got a little bit up here to do around the hair. So what I'm gonna start with is by taking my piece of paper and flip it over and cover up my nose so that I'm able to come up into here and erase out my grid where my hair's at. And as you can hear, we're starting off with a train today. Alright, so I'm coming in and erasing out my grid lines through my hair, which is going to let me shade in around my glasses as well. So some of what I'll need to do is to come back in and reinforce this line around where my hair opens. Alright, so for the most part, the only shadow I really got going on, see it in here, is underneath this hair right here. So I'm just gonna come back in and start layering in that shade. Alright, so now that I've got that in there, for the most part, that's kind of smoothed out, so I'm just going to take my finger and blend out most of that through the hair. Alright. come back in and just pull out where some of that hair was that the shadow got into. And now I'm done with that portion of my head. Alright, so now I can come down to look at my mouth. And for the most part, I've got, you know, pretty pale lips going on. So what I'm going to do is come back in and darken up some of these areas that look like they could be a little bit darker. Sometimes we get a little bit of a fresh eye on our piece and it shows us where that needs to happen. Alright, so I'm going to come in and erase that grid line. And do my one through my mouth. Alright, so I'm going to start with the darkest part of my mouth, which is right through here. And then I'm going to come through and just add that little bit of shade. For my bottom lip. And add it for my top lip. And then I'm going to come in and blend it out. And now I can start to come back in and kind of do some of that detailed work. And start to shade around the different shapes in my lip. So here I'm putting that highlight on the top of my lip and coming through to pull that out. And then coming right underneath it to reinforce that shadow and shade. And now I notice that here there's a little bridge on my lip that I can come in and pull out. And then come back in and smudge up those edges to come around it. And then on this side of my lip it definitely gets darker because that part of my face is in shadow. And then here it definitely starts to get darker. And now I'm going to come in and take my pencil and just do some of those up and down lines to get a little bit of my lip texture in there. And then I can come in and smudge it up just a little bit so it's not quite so textured. And then I'm going to come in and do the same thing on my bottom with the light first. Just very light. And then come in off at the top where some of that shadow would be. And add in some of that as well. All right, so now I've got my lips in, so now I can come and start to add in the shadow underneath the lips, which is this guy right here. And the shadow is definitely darker towards the bottom than the top. Come in and reinforce the shadow over here again. Even probably come over here and give that guy a little bit more of a shadow too. Alright, I'm going to come back in and just underneath here there is a little bit of a reflected shadow. So I'm going to come in and pull that out. And then really, I'm probably good to erase the rest of my lines in my face. So I'm gonna come in and take out all of those grid lines. And when I'm getting rid of my eraser shavings, I'm trying really hard not to smudge out what I've already done. So always be aware of that. All right, so now I've got those grid lines erased around my face. So I'm just gonna start up here on my cheek because I can carry out this shadow and kind of subtly let it blend up. Up the side of my face. I'm going to carry that shadow down. And it's got that subtle transition into light. So I'm giving my cheek that form that we want. Come in and blend some of that out. And also come up here and blend out some of that shadow in the face over there. Keep adding to that shadow as I need to. And then again, I can blend that edge out so it's not quite so, you know, suddenly it's there. So there we go. Come around my glasses. Make sure that that blended out nice. Now I can make sure it's back under here where it should be. Blend it out again. And then right through here, it kind of lightens up again. I'm going to come through and just add that across. And I'm just going to blend out some of that in there. And then look at where this shadow carries down. Just keep giving it a little bit more and blending. So a lot of what happens in our cheeks is that subtle transition to shadow. So that's what we're looking for there. And now I can keep coming down the edge of my face. That shadow coming in. And we get right around here. It starts to jump back up to meet up with this guy over here. So again, I can come in and blend it out. Now I've got this side of my cheek going. Alright, if I come down into the chin, again, we keep that shadow all the way along the bottom. So I'm going to start with that shadow. Bring it up. And then I'm going to let it get light. blend it out. Pull through there. I can come along my bottom edge and erase out any of the smudging that kind of went over where it should. Make sure to keep that shape that we want. Alright, so now I've got the bottom part of my face. And I can come over and now start working on this cheek. So again, there's some shading that comes through here and comes down and over, but for the most part, the rest of my face is just that same light shade. A lot of highlight in this photo. So I'm just going to bring that all the way up. I can just blend it out. I've got a little bit of the shadow that comes down from here around my mouth. I can come in and add that down through here. And again, kind of blend it out. And then there's a little bit of shade happening right through here. But again, it's very subtle around the mouth because there is a lot of that highlight. So there I've got, for the most part, my face done. So now what I can do, pull my paper up and look at where my neck is. And I'll see that for the most part, my neck is really in shade 2, but I can come in and start to fill in this shape here, which is my shirt, which is mostly in shadow. So I can come in and fill that in. And then I can come along this line right here. And I don't think it's shirt, I think this is just shadow. But it's right along the hairline. I can come in and put that in. And that dark shadow goes all the way around my face. So I'm going to use my pencil to get right up to that edge to give me that dark shadow. Coming through and erasing out that grid line. And again, we're very slowly building up this shadow shape with layers. We're not pressing down hard with our pencil. And I'm bringing it all the way up to under my glasses where that sits. And I never finished coloring that part of my glasses, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so once it gets down here around my neck, I'm going to go ahead and erase out those lines. All the way around. And then this shadow here is pretty subtle. So I'm just going to take my pencil, kind of bring it down along the edge. And then continually lighten as we get closer to the inner part of the neck. This shadow on the bottom of my chin is definitely darker than my neck. So I'm just going to bring that shadow out a bit more. Reinforce its shape. And then keep coming in with my shadow for my neck. Actually, not shadow, just skin tone value, because it's not that whitest white. Alright, so once we got that all in, I'm going to go ahead and smooth it out. Blend it together, and then I can come through with my eraser and sort of bring out some of that highlight, and then go ahead and come back in, smooth it out, pull in that highlight again, and smooth it out again. If you have a kneadable eraser, this is a great place to use it because all it's going to do is pick up tone value, and then you won't have to kind of blend it back out. So now I'm going to come over, blend out this dark shadow just a bit, just running my finger over it once, and then I can start to come back over here and put in this dark shadow. That also comes up the whole side of my face. For the most part, it's pretty thin. So I'm just going to keep it right along. And then kind of smooth out that shadow in here so that it very slowly becomes that shadow. And then I'm going to reinforce where this shirt line is. And then come back in and work this shadow out. Come in and erase my grid lines. And then kind of lightly let that shadow buzz out. Because then we're going to start to get into our hair. And that is going to be tomorrow. come in and lightly do that on that side of my face too. The shadow over here is a little bit stark as well, so I'm going to come over and just on the outside of it, let it fade a little bit into the surroundings. Not by much, but just enough. Alright, so now I got my neck in there, I've got my hairline and the shadow around there. And what I can start to do is look at my face and see, okay, where are the darks that I need to reinforce? Where do I need to bring that out? And I think for the most part, it's just reinforcing some of these shadows. Around my nose. Maybe up around my eye a little bit. Push that in. And so what I'm doing is I'm thinking about that 7-point value scale. And thinking, okay, where can I push some of this value a bit more to bring out the form in my face? Definitely think I could make this shadow along here darker. Coming around here and darken it up. Definitely come back under my cheek and darken that up a bit. Alright, and so I'm just going to keep comparing my drawing to my picture and pulling out any of that dark and really pushing it in where I think it might need to be seen. Alright, this would be a great time to pin it up on the board and maybe walk away from it and get some space and compare. Maybe come and find me, ask a friend. All right, getting some space from our drawing gives us a lot of that opportunity to see where we can push and pull. I definitely think I could come back up in here and give this eyelash a little bit more definition. So I'm going to come in and do that line a little bit darker. Back in there. Maybe even that back there a little bit more shape. And come in and pull out a little bit of a highlight right there. There we go. All right, so I'd say I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. The only thing I'm not really seeing is this little mole, beauty mark, whatever you want to call it, that I've got going on my lip. So I'm gonna come around and reinforce that a little bit. Give it some more shadow underneath. And then really come in and highlight it out. There we go. And come in and darken this shadow too. I think it's a little bit darker in my photo. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I feel pretty confident. Go ahead and calling it and coming back to do the hair later. So it says right around 40 minutes, which is right around where we want to be to finish the mouth and the face and our neck. So I will see you guys tomorrow for our last tutorial. All right, bye guys.